So let's walk through some of these criteria that I think are critical. And a lot of them, as you'll see, really relate to building teams and creating great teams, because there's one thing we know that great teams win more than individual leaders win in almost any walk of life. And lo and behold, the Tuck School, that's one of our core competencies, if you will. So first off, deep and unusual talent on the team. I think they both in the past have done well there. If you look at Obama's cabinet, you have former CIA people, you have a Nobel Prize winner, you have award-winning economists, you have someone that was in a Republican administration before. You have some real talent that's there. And while Romney hasn't put together a presidential cabinet, of course, he has done that in Massachusetts. And then if you look at it in his private business work and at Bain Capital, there's no question the people that work for him at Bain, and some of them are running the company now, are very talented, very impressive people. So I give him a draw on that score. Diversity of views. So are we getting really a variety of different perspectives around the room? And Obama has one of the most diverse cabinets in a long time. There are minorities, there are African Americans, in addition to himself, obviously. There are people with different backgrounds. The place where he falls down, frankly, on diversity, the weakest element of that would be lack of people in business. And I think a lot of people on the webinar are fully aware of that. Romney, well, when you look at his cabinet in Massachusetts, all he had was just about ex-CEOs and other former business people. And so he had the opposite problem, really a lack of diversity there. And then when he went back to Salt Lake City to work on the Olympics and try to turn around the Olympics when they were really in trouble, virtually all of his senior people were either former Bain people or actually people from from LDS, from the Mormon Church, and he was criticized quite a bit for the lack of diversity there. Diversity in and of itself is not enough. You have to generate some real debate. I have a question mark for Romney because I couldn't really get a good sense of that. But for Obama, this has been a big weakness. For those of you that may have read Michael Lewis's piece in Vanity Fair that just came out this week, and it's a great piece, there's a quote that I just want to read. It comes from someone in his cabinet who said, Obama structures meetings so that they're not debates. He likes to make decisions by having his mind occupy the various positions. He likes to imagine holding those views. For Obama, he has, and this is true for Romney as well, they believe in experts. They want expert capability, so they're experts around the room. But for Obama, he wants to hear what those experts have to say, and then he's going to decide based on what he hears. That's different than having experts engage in a real debate amongst themselves while you're part of that debate and you're listening into that debate and you're kind of pushing and pulling. And so in a way, if you think about this as a matrix or as a network structure, you have Obama in the center and you have all kinds of people all around him. And the lines of discussion are all between Obama and each of those experts. That's different than maybe more of a what you might see in a bicycle when the spokes are connecting in a lot of different ways. And I think that's a weakness. Effective delegation. Romney's been great at that in the same way that all great or most great CEOs are. In Massachusetts he had a track record of delegating a lot of responsibility, and certainly he did that at Bain, partly to develop people, partly because that's how you get things done. And I think that's probably not a positive for what we know about how Obama has managed as president. Courage to make decisions. I think they both deserve a lot of credit for that. Was it easy to say we're gonna bail out GM? No, it wasn't, because there was a lot of flack all around that. Certainly, the stimulus plan had some headwinds to go into, and maybe even more recently his support of gay marriage. After being equivocal for a very long time, he's finally come out strongly in favor. These are courageous decisions, and he made them. For Romney, I think he deserves some credit as well. If you look at the turnarounds in Salt Lake after he took over, you look at some of the work he did at Bain. He wasn't afraid to make a decision, and they weren't always popular ones. And some of this has come back to haunt him. Certainly, the healthcare plan in Massachusetts has come back to haunt him among conservative voters and members of his own party. But that was a courageous decision to make. And then effective execution. I think it's hard to beat the consultant's playbook when it comes to knowing how to be an effective leader when it comes to execution. And for Obama, it's been some bungling along the way. You look at the health care plan. It took forever to get done. I think he wanted Senator Reid, to create it and run with it, and that didn't work. When it came to looking for the grand bargain with Senator Boehner, that really turned into a big mess. So I think execution could, frankly, have been better with Obama. And for Romney, again, not at the same level, not the same stakes. So it's not a apples to apples comparison. But from what we know, dealing with the big dig crisis, dealing with the turnaround of the Salt Lake Olympics, execution was very strong. So those are the key criteria I look at when it comes to management team capabilities. And again, if you add up all of this, you get kind of a net out of 0 for Obama and a plus 4, I guess, for Romney, and he clearly wins on this. And that gets back to what I think is really one of the key points that I'd like to make in the webinar, which is what is the path to the White House for both of these leaders. And I would say for Romney, his displayed competence and a lot of these criteria I'm identifying here are about management competence, really stand out. I have a question about how transferable some of these skills and experiences might be, but overwhelmingly he has taken a much more clear-eyed view of problems. He has not had as many prejudgments, I think, on what works and what doesn't work, and has proven himself in multiple situations to be a very effective manager, a very competent manager, and that's the story he has to sell to people. I think any of the moves he makes towards reinforcing a Tea Party program are mistakes. I think it's about competence. It's not about ideology for Romney. And for Obama, it is going to be more about ideology, and it is going to be more about inspirational leadership. That so-called likability factor, well, it's there. People do relate to him much better. And for whatever reason, Romney doesn't have that same likability factor. And so for Obama, I don't think he can win by saying he's going to be the most competent steward of the economy. It's not to say he can't, and the economy won't get better. But I think to give people the confidence that they need to move forward and to start making the investments that are needed to grow the economy, Obama's path is much more around an inspirational path and a confidence building path.